Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. So I want to talk about the Indiana Pacers a little bit. I don't watch the Pacers at all, but they do have a situation going on that I find to be kind of, it's just murky. It's definitely unfortunate, but it's murky. And the reason being is because Caris Levert, the newly acquired star player that they've, newly acquired, he, I guess, in his physical for the team upon being traded, found a mass on his liver, I believe it was, or something of that nature. So don't quote me on that, but a mass was found in his body that was abnormal. The next steps have not been clear. Obviously, one would expect that he's going to have it removed. I know that technology allows for a lot of different things, so I do not know if surgery is the way that this needs to be done, or if there's another more or less intrusive way of handling this. But he is in fact out indefinitely at this time with this situation. First of all, thank goodness that they found it. Whatever it is, I hope it's benign. I hope it's not cancerous. It's basically what I'm saying. And from there, hopefully it's something that he can quickly bounce back from and get back on the court as soon as possible. I would imagine he's going to miss the season. It's tricky, murky in this regard, because obviously he was just traded for it. The Indiana Pacers gave up a all-star shooting guard in Victor Oladipo, even though I hear that he was disgruntled, did not want to be there. The team was ready to move on from him, so I'm sure they were not regretting the trade. I've been on record saying that I would rather have Caris Levert than Victor Oladipo. I have since realized and understood that Victor Oladipo's acquisition was not as much about him as a player, but more so about his contract and how manageable it would be, along with the other contracts that they received in the trade. It had very little to do with actual on-court basketball stuff, and more so to do with how they manage their cap and how they build their team. So that's the value in that aspect of the trade. You got your picks, and then you got those expiring contracts or contracts that are easily moved. So, yeah, you can see why they didn't acquire Caris Levert. That contract isn't as movable. It doesn't leave you as flexible, and they were a team that was strapped for flexibility after the trades that they've made over the last 3 years. So I understood what the Rockets are doing in not acquiring Caris Levert. I do not believe they knew of this mass in his body. I do not believe the Nets knew of the mass in his body, because if they did, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have been out there, and I'm pretty sure nobody would have made the trade. So of all things considered, last time we saw Caris Levert, he looked like an all-star. So if they didn't find this, he'd still be out there and you'd never know anything. But the problem is, obviously, this is about his long-term future, his health, and maybe even his short-term future, depending on what's going on. So this is really, really, really unfortunate and devastating just in a human space. But as a sports analyst or mind, I would say that this is very, very, this is one of those things where you ask yourself, could the Pacers veto the trade? Now, the answer to that is quickly absolutely not, because James Harden has literally played his first game as a Net, and at this point he belongs to the Nets. The Pacers have to swallow the pill of being traded damaged goods. And that's where it gets murky. At this point, I believe the NBA should do some good faith agreement of some sort to see to it that the Pacers get something else out of this deal. Now, I don't know if that's plausible. I don't know if that's possible. But to me, it seems fair. They did not sign up to acquire a player that could not immediately play for them. And although it's no one's fault, because it's no one's fault, they shouldn't be punished either. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have to hold the bag, so to speak, in this situation. They didn't sign up for that. Their analytics didn't show them that. One could say when you make a trade for a player, you run the risk of acquiring everything that comes with that player. And sometimes it is more than basketball. Sometimes it is health issues. Sometimes it can be family issues or when you bring a player, you bring everything that comes with him. It's basically what I'm saying. You run the risk of everything that comes with that and all many possibilities. So yeah, that might be one thing a team could say, but if I'm the Pacers, I'm not going for that. I'm calling the league right now and I'm saying, look, I understand this is nobody's fault. I'm not filing a grievance, but I do ask that you do something here to make this right. So, yeah, that's what I would be saying if I were in that position, if I were a Pacer fan or otherwise. But the Pacers as a team, I don't think they're going to be bad. I still got them making the playoffs, even without Caris LeVert and Oladipo. I got them. I got them scraping the barrel. They have some good players on that team. They are well coached. They have a cohesive bunch of guys that have been together for a little while. They're not world beaters, so the expectations are not higher or lower than they were, and they are in the East. And though teams in the East are getting a lot better, I don't think they've gotten a lot better than the duo of Malcolm Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis, 2 All-Stars this year, if you ask me. And they still got Justin Holiday and the other Holiday dude as well. They have 2 Holidays on that team, and they got some players. They got obviously you're talking about when you talk about the Pacers, you got to mention their center. His name is escaping me as everything always does, but he's having a career year, blocking a lot of shots. God, his name is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. I'm sure you guys can, but he's a really, really good player. And I hear the Celtics had him on their radar as a player to trade for, and they just simply didn't pull the trigger for Kyrie Irving or something like that. I don't know if I would have made that trade either. But, he's a player. God, what is his name, bro? It's killing me. Miles Turner. So the Celtics were trying to get him, I think, at one point. I think Kyrie was involved. Whatever. They didn't pull the trigger on the deal. Blah, blah, blah. And so on and so forth. So you got a situation here where, he's also in play and he's going to help that team as he always has. So, I still think the Pacers are going to be just fine. Just fine for their standards, which is probably about 5th seed, 6th seed. They'll be in the mix. But losing Oladipo, it's going to hurt them on the floor. And, of course, acquiring Caris LeVert and then finding this out is also not going to be too good for them. But it's yet to be seen what's going to happen. But like I said, their core, their true core is still intact. But Caris LeVert is an extremely good player. Don't get it twisted. He's an extremely good player. But I look at it from this standpoint. They can't miss what they never had. Victor Oladipo, though they had him, he just got back from injury. So more or less, they're used to not having him. That's how you got to look at it. Victor Oladipo spent a great deal of last season hurt. Year before that, he was hurt. So it's one of those situations where the Pacers are probably more used to not having Victor than they are used to having him. So in losing him in trade and then acquiring a player that just isn't going to be able to play is essentially like Victor Oladipo going down in with another injury. That's how you got to look at it from a coaching standpoint, from a basketball standpoint. And really, that's not the end of the world. I hate to say it, but for the Pacers, it's not. It's actually something they're probably used to. So with that being said, like I said, I don't watch a whole lot of Pacers, so you're not going to hear me saying, oh, well, this player did that over there, and because of that he did this, or this guy has tendencies to do that. I have no idea. But what I can tell you is I pay close enough attention to news, and I pay close enough attention to rosters. So I can give you that. That's as far as it goes. But, thank you guys for watching. If there's some Pacer fans out there, I'm thinking about you guys. This Caris LeVert thing is it's unfortunate. Obviously, you just got the guy, so it's not like you're hurting. But it does leave you feeling kind of empty about your prospects of going forward this season, and the chances of you missing the playoffs obviously increases dramatically without both of those players. So it is what it is. Still think you guys will be fine. Anyway, my name is BDF44. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.